Alright, Schlockmeister fans, another review from my previous channel. Something called The Story of the Dolls. Let's check it out. Tekshi Agbayani plays Lee, beautiful young Filipino woman who's a school teacher. There's a typhoon coming, apparently. Here she is in her teaching element.
It just might try to do that this very evening, children. We may witness a fierce battle, a great struggle between the typhoon and the people of this island.
Meanwhile, this fashion photographer with some models named Tom is being warned to get away.
Get the girls back to port. You two go along with him.
Storm's approaching.
Pedro, how did you get here?
I managed to escape.
But the police will be looking for you.
I've already killed one man because of you. Go through hell for you.
I don't know who Pedro is, but she's gonna escape and then a chase is on. Now this is the day after the typhoon hit, and our photographer Tom washed up on shore. He got rescued by Lee, and now he's returning the favor by attacking the attacker, Pedro. Eventually Lee's gonna come in and help. She nurses him back to
When I
health.
found you on the beach, I thought you were dead. Where's my father?
This is your father? How do you do? Your daughter saved my life. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Nothing.
He wants to
Just
take pictures
me
of
some
her.
Characteristic locations, and then I'll take your picture in front of them.
Just that?
Yeah, as far as the work goes.
This guy Jose shows up and he doesn't want her to leave for
Jose,
taking pictures with that
did
guy.
you hurt yourself? Are you all right?
No, I'm not all right, and you'll be happy to hear that I'm hurt. And you're not going to the city with that stranger.
Well, Lee does go with him. I think it's Manila,
Practicing your breasts,
and we meet some of the other
Oh, is
models.
that what it's called?
Hey, Tom!
Hi!
How you doing?
Well, some of the other girls take her back to the room and they undress her.
Haven't you got panties?
Panties? What is that?
You know, for under your dress. Underpants.
No. We have no use for that in the country.
Well, a photo shoot takes place, things get a little randy, there's a lot of sex going on, and this freaks her out a little bit because she's not into that sort of hedonistic scene. Tom finds her crying in a closet.
What are you doing in there?
He wants her to get naked and she refuses.
Yeah, you've got nothing to be ashamed of.
If you're only taking pictures for yourself, that's okay. But if it's for a magazine, please say so.
Listen, I'm paying you to do this, so get your clothes off.
So strange men can look at me with their greedy eyes?
Well, I guess Tom is pretty convincing, but because he gets her to get her clothes off. All of them. And I can't show you, but it's beautiful. But after a minute or so, she freaks out again and runs off into the ocean. Alright, Tom has to retrieve her. Tom taking some sexy photos of some tongues. After that photo shoot, Tom got busy with a couple of the models, but not Lee, who is now jealous.
You were at the beach.
She saw them.
Yes.
Would you believe me if I told you that that was planned by the girls?
I know. It's all my fault. I took took you away from Marisa, and she has a right to fight for your love the same as I do.
Well, Lee then wins like the Miss Philippines contest.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the great honor of presenting to you the winner of the Miss Philippines contest, Miss Lee Seltai. The jury was impressed not only by her exceptional beauty, but also by her personality, charm, and poise.
It was all fixed. I heard that she's been screening that photographer.
Oh, shut up. My
Well, Tom comes with a magazine with her pictures in it. It's a Playboy magazine.
Come on, please. Don't be mean. Let's have a look. Now I'm really embarrassed.
And back on the island,
Father, will you look at this?
I've seen pictures like this before. All I feel is pity for these young girls.
But Father, didn't you look closely? Look at it. It's Lee. Lee from this village.
I don't understand why she did that. I really don't. It must have been the work of that photographer. We're all to blame. We should never have allowed her to go to the city. She was so innocent.
apparently she got arrested.
After winning the coveted title of Miss Philippines, the beauty queen was arrested for appearing in a controversial nude picture spread that appeared in the most recent issue of Playboy magazine. This type of exhibitionism is not compatible with laws laid down by our government.
Tom gets her
Now
out.
hold your horses, will you? If any of you is unhappy, you're free to go. Nobody's holding you back. Besides, I haven't noticed too much in the way of inspiration in your work lately.
Couldn't see it, but somebody tossed in a giant shell.
Now I know why Marissa isn't here.
There was a note inside of it.
To Lee and the photographer, you shall die for your sins.
Well, she was back in like her village, and she got attacked by somebody while she was doing this costume thing, and they drew a picture of a skull on her belly. What does it mean?
2 days we'll be on the plane to New York. In 3 weeks we'll be in Nice for the Miss World pageant. By then you'll have forgotten all about this.
They're going to kill me, Tom. I did something I never should have done. I am a traitor to our religion. And I turned my back on our society.
Well, look.
So she's now torn between going to New York with Tom or staying with her village. She's gonna get some threats, though.
Jose,
Make your decision. Come back to the village or die.
give me time. I can't make decisions that fast. Please give me time.
No, bitch, you've had enough time.
So she runs off again and apparently looks to God for some answers while Tom and the other models are looking for her.
Mother of God.
Still no sign of her.
Did you finally call the police?
Yeah?
I don't know where she is now, but she almost gets assaulted.
I brought you here, so pay.
I told you I'd pay later. I don't have any money.
If you can't pay money, then pay me with love.
Stop being silly. Don't you understand?
Then
my
Tom
money
shows
is
up.
home.
If we let you go, we'll never see our money.
For heaven's sake, why can't you trust me?
Give us your money, you sweet little body.
You're crazy. Tom!
So at the airport on the way back to New York, he's not sure if Leah's going to show up or not. Looks like she's not, but then wait.
Oh, excuse me. I thought you were somebody else.
That's something you should never say.
But she is a Filipino woman, so I guess she'll do.
New York.
You live in New York?
Yes, I go to school there.
Well, come on. You better hurry up. I'd like to take some pictures of you sometime.
What kind of pictures?
And then Lee does show up. Just in time to see Tom with her replacement. So she goes back to her village, and that's how our movie ends.
Want to come along? We're going now.
All right, let's talk about the story of the dolls. This is a movie that I hadn't actually heard of before. This was sent to me by the same person who sent me Melody of Passion, which I reviewed earlier this week. This is basically a 1983 sex drama thriller thing. They made a lot of these movies in the late 70s, early 80s. And this one actually, to my knowledge, didn't play on cable, although it seemed like it probably could have. Techi Agbayani is the actress's name here, and she actually is still a pretty well-known Filipino actress to this day. She's got over 100 credits on IMDb, including some mainstream stuff here in this country, but she was a young, beautiful actress back in 1983. And she showed it all, bared it all in this movie, thank you. She plays this woman or girl from the Philippines. She lives on an island somewhere, and this fashion photographer named Tom comes to the island with some models to take some nude photos and that sort of thing. And a typhoon hits, and he ends up washing on shore after his boat capsizes, and Lee saves him. And then he saves Lee from this would-be assaultist who was there. And then they kind of hit it off, and he says, I want to take pictures of you. You're beautiful. And she says, okay. And she doesn't realize they're going to be naked pictures, but that's what he has in mind. So he gets her on the beach at one point, tries to get her to take her clothes off. She refuses, but then he convinces her to do it. And then she does, takes off her clothes. Next thing you know, they're running off to Manila and taking more photos there. And she's still a little reluctant because of her ways. She comes from these, I don't want to say small town, small island. And she's a little repressed in that regard. But she somehow enters the Miss Philippines contest and wins. So next thing you know, she's going to be Miss World possibly, or at least participate. I don't know. But anyway, she's not totally convinced with this hedonistic lifestyle that Tom and the other models lead. And eventually, she appears in Playboy. Her island people are offended by this, and they, at one point, one guy even threatens to kill her for appearing in these magazines. So she doesn't know what to do. She, appeals to God. God, what should I do? And ultimately, she goes to Tom and says, look, maybe I'll come with you to New York. Maybe I won't. They're set to leave the next day. And if she's going to go, she'll just show up at the airport and meet him there. Well, at the airport, she doesn't show up. Tom sees this other Filipino woman who's going to New York and says, hey, I ought to take pictures of you. So she starts to walk off with him. And then just at that moment, Lee pops into the airport ready to go to New York. And then she sees Tom with this other woman. And then she gets upset and decides to go back to her village. That's how our movie ends. That is the story of the Dolls. Now, I think this movie may have gotten a VHS release under the title The Dolls, which may have been a private screenings movie. I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know if it was, but it's one of the few, if it is a private screenings movie, it's one of the few that I don't actually have. I've never seen the movie anywhere on VHS, but I believe it does exist. When I reviewed this the first time back in 2016, I believe I found evidence of that. But anyway, I got this, like I said, from the same guy who gave me Melody of Passion. He may have gotten this from a Laserdisc. I'm not sure. So the quality is pretty decent for what it is. But yeah, anyway, there you go. It's been burned onto this DVD-R. I don't think this exists on DVD in any way, shape, or form anywhere in the world. So happy to have it. But anyway, so I'm guessing, I'm going to tell you to go watch this yourself and leave some comments, but I'm guessing you can't do that because you can't find this movie. So anyway, that is the story of the Dolls. If you can find it, though, or you have seen it at some point, leave some comments. Let me know. And go from there. Watch it. Bye.